Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hello everyone, Craig here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Lucas, and he's selling his Amazon FBA, e-commerce, wholesale and Etsy business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Lucas, and how are you doing today?
Hi Greg, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. I'm looking forward to talking about your business. But before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of the business. So it's an Amazon FBA, e-commerce, wholesale and Etsy business in the food and beverages niche, created in July 2014. The average monthly revenue for the business is $15,269 and it makes an average of $8,689 net profit each month. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 49619 to learn more about the business. Or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, let's have a look at what's included in the sale. We have an Amazon Seller Central account with 12 SKUs, a trademark, primary domain, including all site content and files, an Etsy account, social media accounts for Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest, an email list with 11,000 plus subscribers. And it's important to note that the US Amazon account will be included in this sale, and any EU Amazon account listings will be included as a listing transfer as per EU regulations require. And inventory is not normally included in the list price. Further details can be provided to active buyers. Okay, Lucas, now let's hear from you. Can you tell us a little about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, totally. That was a great introduction. Thank you for that. My background in running and building online businesses is actually a fusion of my previous blogging experience and my former education as an aerospace electrical engineer. I'm completely self-taught when it comes to online business. Like I said, I had a career in electrical engineering, so on my way to work and from work, I would listen to podcasts like yours and tutorials and interviews with other e-commerce business owners. And I started building the business that way. And I quickly realized that it was a totally different experience for me in terms of work. But there were a lot of things from that aerospace niche that I was working for as an engineer that I could apply to my online business, like vetting suppliers and making sure that when I'm designing a product for my business, that I keep manufacturing in mind and vendors and sourcing and timelines and all that stuff. So really the background of me building online businesses come from a little blogging I did many, many years ago and my formal education as an electrical engineer.
Wow, excellent. That's a very interesting background. And you mentioned you design your own products for this business, right?
Yes, most of the SKUs I've created myself. And I think that's how this business got to where it is today, by positioning unique products in the, like I said, the food and beverage industry. But recently I got into private labeling, and that's been taken off as well. But most of the best-selling SKUs are designed by my business.
Okay, excellent stuff. So you went from blogging. How come you decided to go from blogging to e-commerce?
I started blogging in 2008 with a few friends, and the website ended up kind of taking off. We're having over 100,000 unique views a month on our blog, and we started doing a little bit of affiliates here and there. But we were in different countries, and that was kind of hard to manage. And when I got into a certain hobby of mine, I decided to start creating products for that hobby. And I used the previous SEO experience, we can put it this way, that I had with blogging to launch my first product and literally see where it took me. And the organic search ended up taking off, and a product created a business and it became a brand.
Excellent. So you started in e-commerce and then did you branch off into Amazon FBA, or how did you end up with the full business model that you have today?
I started in crowdfunding. That's how I launched the first product. I crowdfunded and it was over 275% funded in less than 30 days. And one of my customers said, "Are you selling on Amazon?" And that was a year after I started. And I said, "No, not really." And I said, "Man, you're leaving a huge revenue on the table if you're not selling Amazon, specifically Amazon FBA." And he helped me set up everything. And we've been running on Amazon FBA since pretty much the second year in business.
Excellent stuff. So you're, of course, in wholesale and Etsy as well. So how do those models fit into the overall business?
The Etsy side of things was kind of a natural progression because that's a platform that I shop on for more unique presents when I'm looking for gifts for people. So I thought maybe I should be on Etsy. And that's actually a sales channel that I've been more focused on in 2020. And to date, right now, I'm looking at the screen here. I grew over 400% in 2020 alone because Etsy is such a, I would say, an underdog platform. And wholesale was sort of an organic process too. A store reached out to me and said, "Would you consider selling your products wholesale?" And I had enough margin built in because I'm not private labeling the best-selling products. So I had enough margin that I could go from manufacturer to me to wholesale or retail. And I started selling wholesale that way. And then another store reached out and said, "Hey, we want to carry your products." And another store and another store. And that's how the wholesale accounts started to come in very organically.
Excellent stuff. So overall for the business, what would you say the split between revenue earnings is between FBA, e-commerce, wholesale, and Etsy?
It's mostly Amazon FBA. I would say 70% comes from Amazon and then followed by Etsy. I would say 15 to 20% Etsy and probably 5 to 10% wholesale. And the last bit, like 3 to 7% comes from e-commerce, my own website.
Okay, good stuff. And what do you do in terms of marketing for these sides of the businesses?
I'm a little ashamed to say that, but I don't do any marketing. It's something that I did a little bit in the beginning, and I would say up until 2 years ago. But then I really started focusing on organic and creating listings that would take a little bit longer to rank and get in front of people. But once they did, they would stay there because I didn't pay for advertising or marketing. And so that's pretty much what I do. I haven't spent, $1,000 in digital marketing the last year. Everything is organic at the moment. That's a great opportunity for growth, honestly, because there's no advertising being done at the moment.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. That's a great opportunity for a buyer who is proficient in advertising. So how come you chose the niche that they're in, the food and beverages niche?
It started as a hobby. I live in the United States, and this specific beverage is booming in the United States. And I got a little more into it. And I started, looking for products in that niche. And the products were there, but there wasn't a lot of thought put into the design of those products. And there weren't necessarily like designer products that I would be proud to display on the shelf. So I decided to create my first product. And that's how I got into it. I got into a hobby that became an idea. It became a product and it became a business.
Excellent. Yeah, I'd say that's always a great way to start a business. So where at now? How come you're selling it?
Man, that's a great question. This year, 2020 has been an eye-opener for me in terms of what I can handle. I've been known for just doing a bunch of stuff all the time. But this year, my wife and I, we had our second child, and I had no idea how challenging it would be to have a newborn and a toddler in the house while I'm trying to run my business. And on top of that, my wife decided to start her own online business. And given my experience growing this business that I'm selling right now, naturally, I became the backbone to her business. And that's just too much for me to handle at the moment. I can't do it all. I can't really focus on the things I want to focus and dedicate all my attention to that. And selling this current business, I think it's the right thing to do this year for sure. And I'm comfortable selling this business where it's at because it's in a very sweet spot right now.
Okay, congratulations on the second born. Sounds like you'll have a busy household this Christmas. So,
Yes, thank you.
Is there anything you learned from this business that you'll apply to future sites or businesses?
Oh, totally. There are so many things that I learned for sure. I think the one thing that really made a difference in building this brand, I'm proud to say that this is a brand, it's not just an online business. Even when I use automated services to ask for reviews, for example, I try to do a little bit of storytelling. So in every touch point with my customers, it doesn't matter what platform, I try to do a little bit of storytelling, and that makes the products a little bit more relatable. It's not just goods that the customers are buying on the internet. There's a little bit of a story behind that they can connect to, or it makes them think of someone else that they love and they end up buying the products. And even on my review requests that are sent automatically to the customers, some of them reply to that request personally to me, sharing their own story. And I think that really made a difference in growing this business, being a storyteller and more personal with the customers.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely a great way to connect with your customers, and it's a fantastic marketing tactic as well. I'm looking at the website now and you've got a very good design. Have you had any CRO work done on this, or has this been all of your work?
That's all of my work. And thank you so much for the compliments, because what you're seeing right now is the result of a very failed website previous to that. Like I told you, this niche specifically, there wasn't a lot of thought put into design and user interface and all that stuff. So I started creating that with a template in WordPress that wasn't specifically designed for e-commerce, but I liked the beautiful aspect of it. And over time, my website was so slow that customers couldn't even check out. They were emailing me saying, I can't check out. It's giving an error. It's taking 20 seconds to load. And I started looking for the most beautiful e-commerce template I could find for WordPress. And that's the result that you have right there.
Excellent. And in a similar vein, is there anything you've tried with this business that hasn't worked out?
Yeah, definitely. And I would say it's totally my fault. I can't blame anyone else for this. And it's not that it didn't work out. It's that I really needed to put more effort into it. And that's Amazon Global. I have Amazon FBA in the United States. And I started the process of expanding to putting my products under Prime Amazon in Europe and other countries. But like I told you, this year has been extremely busy here. And I didn't put in the final effort to send the inventory to these different countries so it would fall into Prime. So I would say it's not that it didn't work, it's that it was half done and I stopped halfway. But that's an effort I started, I didn't finish, and I wish I had, because e-commerce is taking over this year.
Okay, and I guess you've already sort of answered this question just there. If you were to keep the business, what are some ways that you would try to grow it?
Well, that's definitely an opportunity for growth, but I'm a little reluctant when it comes to relying too much in one sales channel. But if I were to keep this business, one thing I would focus on is wholesale. And I would definitely focus on wholesale because my products are wholesalable and they're extremely giftable. And I think that's what stores look for, products that customers want to buy as gifts for other people. And it falls into that category, especially in that price range. And in the United States alone, there are hundreds of stores in my niche that I have all the contact information in a spreadsheet, and I just have to put that plan in motion. And honestly, that plan will likely be in motion before this business sells. So that's the biggest opportunity for growth that I think I have at the moment.
Yeah, that's excellent. Sure, I'll be glad to let you share that. So in terms of the day-to-day work you do in the business, what type of work do you do for maintenance?
Well, this year's been unusual, but normally the maintenance I do is I fulfill the Etsy orders myself and my e-commerce orders. I do have some suppliers that I don't have to deal with much, and they work on the vendor side of things on my website. But the work that I do mostly is to keep my website updated, to keep everything running smoothly on my website, send inventory to Amazon when I have to, fulfill the orders when I have to. And I really try to do that the most effective manner possible. Like I said, working in aerospace, we have to be effective all the time. So I was able to implement a few things that helped me fulfill my orders the most effective way possible. But that's the business that I run, really. That's all I have to do.
That makes sense. So what skills or requirements do you think there are for someone who isn't familiar with this niche or business model?
I think basic WordPress knowledge is important to keep things running smoothly. As a lot of the people listening to the podcast probably know, WordPress, you ended up having plugins, and sometimes you update a plugin and it breaks the website. Just be able to troubleshoot in a matter of a few hours. I think that's an important skill to have. And keeping an eye out, per se, on inventory. Since I have 12 SKUs, sometimes it's hard to track everything in terms of trends, what's going to sell more certain times of the year. Definitely November, December is abnormal, but being able to keep good track of logistics in terms of transport and logistics and all that, I think it's a good skill to have. So definitely basic WordPress skills and basic logistics and planning skills.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What do you think are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
Man, that's a great question. And that's something that I think about all the time. I mean, I've been thinking about this question for years. What's the big risk for my business this year? And I treat it like it's going to happen. And I treat it like that will destroy the business. And I think that's what helped me stay alive for 6.5 years and grow in the business for 6.5 years. And I just asked my question, what's the biggest weak point of the business this year? And I think putting all my eggs in one basket is a big risk for the business. And that's something I've been working on for years. So for example, in 2016, most of my sales came from Amazon FBA in 1 month from one SKU. Then that was the most sales for the year. So that frightened me so much that I started working on this risk mitigation plan that I would diversify the channels and I would diversify my SKUs. So definitely the big risk right now is relying too much on one platform. And that's why I said the biggest opportunity for growth that the business has is not Amazon, because I would be relying on Amazon 100% to grow my business. And it's actually wholesale because that's in my control. So the biggest risk is to focus all the efforts in one platform. And the thing I'm doing to kind of mitigate that risk is to focus on the opposite side of things, that is wholesale, that I can control, that I can reach out to stores and grow the business that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100% there. That's some great insight. So putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
Well, Greg, like I said in the beginning of the interview, the business is in a very sweet spot right now. It's self-sustainable. It generates a decent amount of net profit per month that even if you try to screw up the business, you can't. It's a brand. It's a machine that's feeding itself right now. But at the same time, there is still so much unrealized potential in this industry that the buyer could get this business at this price point and 3x, 4x, 5x in the next 3 to 5 years. And that's it. The business is in a very sweet spot right now that it's self-sustainable and the buyer can afford to take risks to grow the business, and those risks won't destroy the business.
Yeah, that's a great answer and shows how solid this business is. So regarding the sale of the business, would you commit to a non-compete?
Oh, totally. I think that's necessary. If I'm selling a business, I can't start another business in the same industry. It doesn't make sense. And like I said, I have to start unloading my plate, and starting a similar business to the one I'm selling is not what I'm going for at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Finish that journey. So how much support are you willing to offer buyers? Are you going for the standard 30 days of email and Skype support?
Yeah, I'm totally willing to do that.
And are you open to negotiating something like an earnout?
Probably not, but I'm not going to say definitely not, but probably not.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Is there anything else you'd like to share that I might have missed?
No, I think we covered a lot, and I appreciate the time you took to interview me and get to know the business a little better. I'm excited to work with you guys.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been a very interesting talk, and I'm sure buyers will appreciate you taking the time to give them more insight into your business. So thank you very much for your time. It's been great talking to you, Lucas.
Thank you, Craig.
Alright everyone, thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 49619. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.